So I'm starting to wonder if it was my best judgment call to start a show in June in South Carolina, where most of the shtick is I record not in my office, mostly outside. Because it is today, what's the temperature? It says it's 87. It feels like it's hotter than 87. Next week, it's supposed to, the high is 97 and the low is 95. So I'm starting to wonder if this was my best judgment call as to when to start this show. Of course, that's just motivation to probably take the show elsewhere and, maybe go places that have air conditioning. The whole idea behind this is I wanted to have one show that I didn't have to be behind my big dumb desk where I'm at all day, every day. And so far it's been fun. I enjoy coming out here and recording outside, but let me tell you, the heat is not great. And I've got this outdoor kitchen area that's nice and it's shaded and I've got some fans in here, but the problem is I can't run the fans because the fans are loud and they pick up on audio. So I just kind of have to sit here and be a little bit hot for about the 30 minutes it takes me to record this show. So it's been a fun process so far. This is Anecdotal Madness. My name is Chris. I am your host. And this is a podcast where I talk about stuff. I talk about anything and everything. And I sit outside and I sweat. I realized another error in my judgment between takes is that I am also wearing all black today. And that is not something that you want to do. It's also been uncharacteristically dry this summer. So I'm sure that's not helping my sweaty situation. So this episode, I wanted to kind of talk on a bit of a personal note. I don't know if it's necessarily a personal note, but I wanted to talk about something kind of personal, at least to me anyway. Basically, so it's probably been about a week or two now. I have a very, very good friend of mine. He's been a very good friend of mine for probably the past... probably close to 10 years at this point. We were talking and he told me that he has at this point now deleted the Snapchat app. And it sounds like a really stupid way to start this conversation or this discussion topic. So he decided he's going to delete Snapchat. Now, for a frame of reference, I think Snapchat is probably my primary communication method with him and most of the people that I keep in regular contact with as a millennial. I do enjoy Snapchat. Well, I don't enjoy Snapchat. I actually did some thinking after this as to why I use Snapchat, and it was kind of interesting. But I'll get into that later. So I've had this friend, and he was somebody that I met very early on into my IT career when I started. Actually, he was one of the first people, within the first 2 or 3 days of working in IT that I met. He is in large part a reason for most of the accomplishments I've had professionally in life. He introduced me to another friend who wound up being the reason that I took the job that I have now, or started working for the company I work for now that led me to the job that I have now. And also is what led me to move to Charlotte, North Carolina for a few years, which is where I reconnected with who would go on to become my wife. So in large part, this is one of those people that had I never met him, I would probably be in a wildly different place in life. And really, it's not so much had I never met him, because he was one of those people that I would have met, unless either I didn't get the job that we met at or he didn't get the job that we met at, we probably would always have met in some capacity. But just the series of events that kind of unfolded from my knowing this dude, really, he's one of the people that I can tell changed the course of my life and is the reason that I'm sitting here right now with the life that I have. Whether or not I'd be doing podcasts, that could come or go, but I feel like he's one of those people that I'm very, very grateful for the time that we've had and the course that he's kind of helped put me on. Now, I say all of that to build up to about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were talking on Snapchat, and that's, like I said, that's our primary method of communication. We don't call each other a ton because we both work office jobs. It doesn't lead to a ton of time to talk, and, we both just got life stuff going on, so sending snaps back and forth is kind of how we talk. And he sent me a message the other day, and he said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm going to be deleting Snapchat. And it was a little bit of a shock. I'd actually something interesting. So if you don't use Snapchat, there's a feature of the app. You take a picture and you send it to somebody, and that's kind of how you communicate. That's the whole shtick behind it. But if you and the other person send each other a snap each day, you start to build up a streak, and it'll basically tell you how long that you've had this streak with this person. You've talked to this person every day, or you've at least both of you have sent each other a Snapchat every day for X amount of days. And at the time that he uninstalled the app, we had we were each other's longest streak, and this goes back 2,134 days. 2,134 days. My next longest is 1,918 days with another friend of mine who's very influential. But 2,134 days. We started that, I believe, in about early August of 2018. And it was kind of wild to me just to think, I've had some kind of communication with this person every single day for over 2,000 days. You know, it may have just been a picture of this is my coffee this morning, but we had some kind of communication back and forth every single day for 2,100 plus days. On top of that, you know, there was a nice little moment like that, and it was immediately followed with a moment going, I'm never going to talk to this dude again. I kind of had a little existential moment in the fact that I'm really, really bad, and I know this about myself. I'm really, really bad about proactively reaching out to people. And I know I've lost a few friends like this in time, and I mean, I have a hard time just reaching out and talking to people, you know, not even necessarily on like a, you know, I'm struggling with something, I need to talk to somebody kind of way, literally, and just reaching out and saying, hey, how you doing? How's life been for you? Type of way. And my immediate first thought is, if he gets through a Snapchat, I'm never going to talk to this. And then I realized what a horrible, horrible thought that was, because this is definitely someone who I care about. You know, I actually just got to see him get married a few weeks ago. He's been a very good friend to him, to me, and I like to think I've been a very good friend to him. You know, we kind of lived together briefly for a while. We've got, you know, our stories are very intertwined. It's like, I don't want to lose that. And it kind of set me down this existential path of realizing exactly how horrible I am with upkeeping with other people. And this is even like something I can relate to stuck on the internet. Last time we tried to revamp Go Bicker was probably about a year and a half ago from when this is being recorded, a year and a half ago. And I think I had talked to Terry maybe once or twice in that interim. And Kit, I don't know that I talked to him at all in that interim. And again, these are people that, you know, I count Terry and Kit as two of my closest friends. It kind of made me realize it's like, I really need to get better about reaching out and talking to people and just checking in. Hey, how you doing? How's life been treating you? What's going on in your world? And I think he deleted the app about 2 weeks ago or so, and you know, he deleted his whole account. Our streak is long gone, and I don't talk to him every day, but I've tried to make a conscious effort to, you know, if I see something, I try and send, you know, something that makes me think of, here's something that made me think of you, here you go, look at this. Or, you know, just check in, because I know he was trying to get a new job. I send him a message, say, hey, have you heard anything back? How's that going? And it seems really trivial and small, but as someone who has actively had a very hard time both remembering, not necessarily wanting, because I always want to keep up with people. Like I said, I don't have an overtly high number of friends. I have a lot of people that I know. I was looking at my Facebook the other day, and I've got like 300 friends on there, and I can look through most of them, and you know, I can tell at some point I had a not necessarily a very, very serious relationship with any of these people, but you know, I knew these people well enough to care to follow them on social media, and you know, for them to follow me back. And most of these people I don't talk to or have any relationship with at all. And there's quite a few people that I went through on there, and it's like I was fairly close with these people at one point or another. And that's just something that's kind of wild to me to think about. And like I said, it kind of threw me down a little bit of an existential rabbit hole of realizing that I need to get better about talking with people. So I very, very proactively have made an effort to do that with this particular friend of mine. And it kind of made me think a little bit more about why I keep the Snapchat app, because I don't use it as traditional social media. And I'm friends with a lot of people on Snapchat, but there's maybe 5 people. It used to be 6. It's now maybe 5 people that I regularly use it with. I've got a few established streaks with people, and it kind of clicked that it's like a lot of the reason I keep that app is to keep that number going, to keep those streaks going. You know, once you get it over 1,000 days or a year or however many, it's like, oh, you know, I want to keep it going because we can't let the dumb arbitrary number go away. And I'm sure that's part of why they do it. I'm sure there's some psychological bearing behind that keeps people on Snapchat, because I'm one of those people. But it kind of screwed with my head a little bit, because then I was like, well, you know, that arbitrary number is part of the reason that I reach out to a lot of these people every day. And I just send a message to these people for sake of keeping that number going. There's no substance. You know, I'm looking through it right now, and my number one was my friend who's you know, no longer on the app. I'm still trying to keep in contact with him. My number 2 is a another very close friend of mine. He's the best man in my wedding, and you know, I feel like we regularly enough, you know, interact on there. That's again our main method of communication back and forth, mostly because if we call each other, we're going to be on the phone for 2 or 3 hours because we both like to talk. But, you know, we can use the videos to relay, you know, just quick, here, let me tell you a story about this. I don't really feel like talking to you on the phone for 2 hours. And we both kind of have that mutual understanding. But, you know, he's my next highest on there. My next highest is one of my closest childhood friends who I know that I need to try and get better about having regular open communication with, just talking, actually having communication of substance, because he's one of the ones that I definitely know. A lot of times I just send something to keep that little timer from popping up. But, you know, this was another guy who was he was one of my groomsmen in my wedding. I count him as a very close friend of mine. He is one of my oldest friends. I have 2 oldest friends. I really hope in October I'm actually going out to see both of them, because one of them is getting married. I'm really hoping to get them on the podcast, because I think that'd be a cool guest to have on this show, to kind of just talk about our friendship going back, you know, 25 years at this point. You know, that's one where I'm definitely, you know, a lot of times there's nothing of substance sent back and forth, but I want to try to get better about doing that, you know, sending more substance. And then the next longest is my wife, who I hope I have substantial communication with her. I live with her, but it's just, yeah, it kind of led me down a rabbit hole that, you know, most of those people that are on there, you know, a lot of the people on there, you know, I just send stuff to keep arbitrary numbers up. And I've got very good friends on here that I don't send, you know, nearly enough substantial communication to, outside of, here's a picture of my coffee mug this morning, here's a picture of some dumb thing. I never reach out to these people, you know, hey, how you doing, what's going on in your life, and actually have those kind of conversations. Like I said, that's something I know I've always been bad with. That's something I really hope to improve upon as I kind of march through life. I've been in a weird, probably like the last 6 months or so, I've been in a really weird headspace. It's not necessarily a bad headspace, but it's just a weird headspace where I feel like I've been kind of trying to do a lot of figuring about life. That's something I can probably discuss in more detail on another episode, but I just kind of feel like I have been not necessarily having a midlife crisis, but just kind of having one of those, what direction, you know, I've been an established adult for 10 years now. What direction do I want my life to take from here? Part of that is definitely I want good friends and family and just good people involved in it, even if it's not, you know, a high volume of relationships. I want to have quality relationships with the people around me. And I think a big part of having those quality relationships is just being able to openly communicate with those people and reach out and talk with them and just, you know, have a good time and enjoy other people's company, not just keep those people around for sake of having an arbitrary number go up for no reason. You know, I want to be able to reach out to those people because I want to, not because I see a timer next to a number next to their name. I guess that's kind of the point that I'm getting at. I'm really fortunate. Part of this journey is definitely involved with Stuck on the Internet, because I've really enjoyed the last few months that we've been working on setting all this up. I've really got to just sit down and talk with Kit and Terry about what's going on in their lives. And we've been having, you know, even not on recorded forms, but, you know, off books, we've been having, you know, just conversations about what's going on in each other's lives. How you guys doing today? You know, we've been trying to be really open about any struggles or any issues we might be having, you know, both as friends who want to support each other, but also as, you know, content collaborators who are trying to build something here. So that's been a big part of it, and I think it's been a big help. And I'm going to try to make a really conscious effort going forward, just to reach out to my friends and to have conversations of substance. And I'm still definitely going to send stupid arbitrary Snapchats to keep the dumb number up, but as a part of that, I just definitely want to make sure I'm better about touching and talking and being close with my friends. So, as usual, I should probably start to wrap this up at some point. I thank all of you for taking some time to join me today. If you like this episode, definitely check out the rest of them. We're here every single Thursday. I sit down and I just talk about what's going on in the world or what's on my mind, and I've got quite a few episodes piped up here, so I'm really looking forward to going on this journey. If you enjoy this, please leave a rating wherever you're listening to this. Leave a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you don't follow any of the feeds for this show, you can find all of the feeds for this show and every show we do at stuckontheinternet.com or wherever you find podcasts. Definitely, all those follows, those likes, those ratings, they help not only me for this show, but all of us at Stuck on the Internet just keep this thing going and keep it growing. We really, really appreciate you guys being a part of the community here, and this is my effort to reach out to you and have some substantial connections. So, as always, thanks everybody so much for taking some time to listen.